What's that sound? It's For Amusement Only, the EM and Bingo Pinball Podcast. Welcome back to For Amusement Only. This is Nick Baldridge. Well, we've made it to 1953. Bally's Beach Club is the first entry in that new year. And Beach Club is the follow-on to Bally Beauty and takes some of the features from Palm Beach. Beach Club is a single card bingo with 2 super cards. Now, as with any bingo, you want to get 3, 4, or 5 in a row, and those give you the traditional advancing amounts of replays based on how many you get in a row. Now, this game has advancing odds, so that means that by default, if you get 3 in a row, you'll win 4 replays. 4 in a row scores 16, and 5 in a row scores 96. Now, as you put in more money, your odds are going to increase. And so once you put in enough money, your odds will become 64 for 3 in a row, 200 for 4 in a row, and 300 for 5 in a row. That's a lot of nickels. Now, I mentioned this game has super cards. It's got 2 of them, in fact. And if they are lit and you get 3 in a row, it will score as if you got 4 in a row on the main center card. If you get corners on the super card, it'll give you 300 regardless of the odds on the main card. So it seems very worth your while to light the super cards and attempt to get corners. Now, one thing that I didn't explain in my rush to tell you all about the payouts is how the bingo cards are laid out. Your main bingo card is a 5x5 grid of numbers, which correspond to the numbers on the playfield. There are 25 trap holes and a ball return. The ball return does exactly what it sounds like. It'll bring the ball right back to you. You don't lose it if it goes all the way down like you would in a typical flipper pinball. Instead, it comes back into play until it is trapped somewhere on the playfield. The super cards are 3x3 grids, so you reduce the number of numbers which are represented on each of the super cards, and therefore getting a 3 in a line or corners on either of the super cards is much more difficult than getting 3 in a line on the main card. Now, this game also has rollovers, a red and a yellow, which light independently. They'll light one rollover on the playfield. There's one on the left side and one on the right. It will not light both at the same time. And when you hit the rollover, it will spot you 3 numbers. The numbers 2, 5, and 8. Now, on top of all that, this game has the Select a Spot feature. This feature was introduced with the last game that we talked about, Bally's Beauty. But it's been expanded here and given an extended time tree. The numbers that you can spot have moved from the simple 4 on Bally's Beauty to 7 on Beach Club. Those numbers are 19, 20, 21, 22, 16, 25, and 10. 16 is the center number on the primary bingo card. 10 is the center number on the right super card, and 25 is the center number on the left super card. So these are important numbers to know. Now, it's worth noting that as those light at mystery intervals, It won't award you all of the numbers to spot at the same time. You have to earn them by paying in money. Because the last 3 numbers are the center numbers on the main card and the super cards, you're much more likely to stop putting in money before those are lit. Now, I mentioned the extended time tree. In this case, instead of having the rollovers extend the time tree because they're already spotting numbers, the game will randomly award the standard before 4th, so you have to select your spotted number with the dial on the front of the game before you shoot your 4th ball, or, at random, it'll award you before 5th. Now that means that you can play through the majority of your game before settling on a number to spot. This is handy because with the select a spot, if you land in the number that you have spotted, you get nothing extra. It's just exactly as if you had a ball in there. So you want to avoid the number that you have spotted at pretty much all costs, except for tilting. Now, this game also has extra balls, up to 3. So it looks like another phenomenal wood rail player. Multiple ways to win. Having the really powerful 7-position spotted number feature is just fantastic. And the extended time tree and rollover spotting is just icing on the cake. Now let's talk about artwork. This backglass is beautiful. It is gorgeous. It is one of the best bingo backglasses that I've seen. And I love it for a variety of reasons. So there are multiple ladies hanging out on the beach, most of which have an arm behind their head, posing. And then you've got 2 guys which are looking in on this scene. One from behind a cabana, and he's wearing what appears to be a trench coat and reading a newspaper. And he just looks straight up creepy. And then you've got the lifeguard looking down from the tower at the ladies and not head to the ocean. The majority of this backglass is the sky. The clouds flying by and a seagull or 2. And up in the top center, it says Bally Beach Club. But the coloration and placement of the ladies, along with the detritus on the beach, you've got a big post sticking up, leaning over, and that's containing some of your odds. The lifeguard tower has the odds on it. A boat, which is on the shore, has some of the odds. There's just all kinds of things interwoven in this picture which contain the odds. And that's some of the artwork that I'm most attracted to on Bally Bingo, is where they found creative ways to integrate the odds into the image. Now, the playfield has a bunch of ladies going water skiing, and in the background you've got several boats speeding on through. It's nearing sunset, and you got a couple seagulls flying through. The artwork is just great. And everyone apparently water skis and holds on with only one hand, which I've got to say I'm very impressed by. So, let's talk about the cabinet. The cabinet stencil on this game is absolutely gorgeous. Now, you might say, Nick, there are so many beach-themed games. What makes this one special? And I'll tell you. It is not the palm tree, which extends up the side of the cabinet and just looks fantastic as it goes through the head. It's not the umbrellas, which are positioned on the sides of the cabinet. We've seen those before. It's not the blue base coat to represent water. Seen that before too. It's the front of the cabinet, the coin door area, which normally has, the least amount of artwork traditionally on pretty much every game. Flipper or non, modern or old, this area normally has the least art, and that's because there's the least usable surface. But the beautiful thing about a Bally Bingo, up until about the 1970s, they used these wooden coin doors which could contain part of the stencil. And in this case, they've added multiple umbrellas, each at different positions, each with different colorations on the front of this coin door. And it's just awesome looking. It looks great. And that in combination with the umbrellas on the sides of the cabinet and the palm tree, which is actually twinned with another, winding its way up the side of the cabinet and through the head. It's just a beautiful game. It looks like a heck of a lot of fun. And if you listen to my Chad Dubowski interview, that's a game that he had talked about and he's got. And Chad, if you're listening, I'd love to play that next year at York. So hopefully if you have the ability and the time to bring that, I would love to play it. Because it looks like a great game. Yet another. It's hard to find a stinker. That said, there are a couple which are much less loved in the Bally Pantheon. This is not one of them. This is a beautiful game, and it looks like a lot of fun to play. So if you have one near you, go out and play it. And if you don't, see if you can find one. Well, that's all for tonight. Thank you very much for joining me. My name again is Nick Baldridge. You can reach me at foramusementonlypodcast@gmail.com, or you can call me on the Bingos line. That's 724-BINGOS1, 724-246-4671. You can listen to us on iTunes, Stitcher, Pocket Cast, via RSS, on Facebook, on Twitter at Bingo Podcast. You can follow me on Instagram, also at Bingo Podcast, or you can listen to us on our website, which is foramusementonly.libsyn.com. Thank you very much for listening, and I'll talk to you next time.